Hello, we kicked the dogs out. I had to reshoot the whole episode because the dogs are annoying. It's episode 5 of Loose Ends. We are joined by the producer extraordinaire, Miss Kirsten Constantino. Everybody give her a round of applause. Woo! Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
She's here. We're gonna get her a mic next week. We didn't figure that out this week, but next week she will have a microphone, so I won't have to show you guys my ugly top profile when I give her the mic. But welcome to episode 5 of Loose Ends, everybody. We made it past a month of episodes. I've been, I guess, I've been a part-time content creator for a month now. So thank you guys for tuning in to the show, wherever you may be in the world. That is greatly appreciated. First things first, I just want to let everybody know that when I started the show, I told everybody this was going to be a comedy podcast. This was going to be somewhere that we can come and have a laugh and laugh about things that are going on either in the world, in my life, and, you know, in the future when we start getting viewer submissions in, and even in your life. But what I'm learning over these past couple of weeks is that although we have comedic intentions on the show, sometimes depression will get the best of a young brother. And that's what's happened over the past 2 weeks. But we are pushing through, and we are accepting that sometimes the show isn't always going to be what we want it to be, but that doesn't mean that we don't put it out or that we don't still try to give it our best effort. Is that right? Yeah. Correct. So that's all I wanted to say about that. This isn't always going to be a comedy show. This is more so, like I said when I started it, a solo show where you guys can kind of just get to know me a little better, get to know what's going on. And it's not always funny what's going on with me. Sometimes I'm a little depressed, sad bitch, and that's just how it goes. Okay? Man, I've had a tough past couple of weeks, but I'm excited to report to you guys that we are off of the antibiotics. Those antibiotics were making me feel tired. I don't even know what they were called, but one of them would dissolve in my mouth really fast as soon as I drank the water and almost caused me to choke every single time I took it. And I took it 3 times a day. So in order for me to get better, I had to risk my life 3 times a day because for some reason the pill was the size of one of those beetles that can't see but flies around. Yeah, guys, welcome to the show. Loose Ends episode number 5. Got a lot to talk to you guys about. Got a lot to catch up with you on. Last week was a tough one, man. We're gonna have a little honesty hour here, but last week was it's honesty hour, everybody. We need like honesty hour theme music. Figure that out. Huh? I think it'd be cool to use like the Law and Order theme song. So maybe I'll pull that audio off the internet and use that because that'd be kind of fun. But yeah, guys, like I said, last couple of weeks have been really tough. Dealing with the health issues, dealing with being a person who's alive. If you're alive right now, chances are your life is pretty tough, man. I don't know if you guys know this or if you drive or if you have a Tesla or whatnot, but gas for some reason is $5.70 a gallon. What the fuck is going on with that? It's killing me. Every single time I go to the gas station, I consider just giving a guy a hand job just to have somebody fill up my tank. It's getting really bad. But I haven't let my dignity go yet, so I have been paying for gas, guys. I'm happy to report I've been paying for gas, haven't been selling my body, or jerking people to completion to get my gas tank filled. So happy to report on that end. Like I said, we are back. We're feeling better. The antibiotics are done. We finished them on Friday. It's been a very eventful weekend, very busy weekend, jam-packed with stuff, lots of emotions going on. We were at a wedding a family wedding, a very close family wedding on Friday. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a very emotional guy. Okay, so weddings get me, man. I get all lovey, and I start thinking about maybe my own wedding in the future, or not maybe, but my own wedding in the future. I start thinking about friends that I know probably will never get married. I think about a lot of stuff. I think weddings bring up a lot of shit for me, man. But yeah, we went to a wedding on Friday. It was a great time. Uh, Now, when I got prescribed antibiotics, the doctor said, "Hey, buddy, you're not going to be able to drink." And I said, "Okay, sir." Well, your boy had a couple. I had to have a couple. It's a wedding. We're celebrating. It's love. Family's around. We're enjoying each other. We're dancing. We're dancing the night away. Bruno Mars is playing. Filipinos and Bruno Mars. What is it with that, bro? I swear to God, I heard like fucking 12 Bruno Mars songs, and I didn't even know Bruno Mars had that many songs. They were playing. They must have went on the Apple Music Deep Cuts playlist for Bruno Mars, because some of these I'd never even heard. Obviously, classics like Uptown Funk You Up. Okay, you can play. That's wedding appropriate, right? But yeah, I mean, I didn't even know Bruno Mars had that big a catalog, but apparently he does. Weddings are fun, man. If you're still a young person, and I don't know, this has only been my man, I haven't been to that many weddings in my life. I've been to this wedding. The last wedding I went to before this was my mom's. Before that was my best friend's, and before that was my uncle's second wedding and first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is only my fifth wedding I've ever been to that I can remember. Maybe I went to one when I was younger, but and I know people that go to weddings all the time. Maybe they have more friends, or maybe I don't know. I don't know what it is. But either way, I enjoy weddings. I think it's a fun time. And if you're gonna throw a wedding, please, for the love of fucking God, have an open bar. And not this time to bullshit either, where it's like 2.5, 4 hours. Open bar entire night, because we're celebrating. And the good thing about this wedding was that they did the top shelf open bar. So when you went and got a drink, they said, "What tequila do you want?" And your boy was saying the most expensive one. I know you were. Yeah, you were. You were. I only had 4 drinks, though. I had taken my antibiotics earlier that day. I feel fine. Sorry, doc. Or ER doc. It's not even my doctor. It's just some lady that gave me pills. But I don't know. I just felt. I mean, come on, man. You think I'm not gonna have a drink at a wedding? That's insane. How would you not want to have a drink at a wedding? It's like I said, you're celebrating. It was a good time though. Friday during the day, Kirsten had to wake up really early, so we had to get down to the venue, or the hotel that was near the venue, and we dropped her off at 8:30. She was in hair and makeup all day. You would have thought she was shooting a multi-million-dollar Hollywood blockbuster fucking movie. For how long? I was like, "Oh, am I going to see you today?" She was like, "Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe." And then I didn't see her until 5 p.m. So I got to kick it at a hotel by myself, and I enjoyed it. I got to say, guys, if you're going to stay at a hotel, my one piece of advice is leave the room as dirty as possible, without, like, obviously, like, you don't want shit on the walls and like cum in the sink and stuff, but leave it dirty. Leave the bed. Leave a little trash on the desk, but don't do anything too crazy. We don't want to get a fee, right? We want to push it right into the line where they say, "No, we're going to charge you because there's a dead body in the bathtub." But that's my number one piece of advice when you stay at a hotel. Get the room dirty. It's not your house. You have no repercussions for how dirty it is. I'm pretty sure I left a Portos box in there. I left the coffee cups. I wasn't too bad this time, but it was only a one-night stay, so how dirty can you get a room in one night? I feel like when you're in Vegas for a whole weekend and you're just coming in and coming out to like change and stuff, that's when the room gets really dirty, but I did a good job this time. Now, second piece of advice for when you stay in a hotel is you have to take advantage of the amenities that the hotel provides. Obviously, every hotel is different. If you're staying at a hotel that doesn't have a pool, get your money up, bro. Quite honestly. Okay? But, what? Why'd you shake your head at me? Man. But yeah, wedding was fun. Besides that, weekend was pretty normal, right? We had a pretty good time. Um, just relaxing. Went on a hike today. Went on a hike that I don't even know how to describe this, but uh, so we have a park near us that we typically like to go to. Found it probably 2 years ago now. Doesn't seem overcrowded. Never have a problem finding parking. Really good for walking dogs and stuff. So we attempted to go to that park today, and for some reason the gate was closed. So the only other entrance to the park, you basically have to traverse an entire mountain, obviously in your car. But the other entrance to the park is, I'm not kidding you, a 6 mile drive into like hills, and that's where you have to enter. So when I found out that, or when I saw that the gate that was locked, I told Kirsten, we're just gonna find another park so we don't have to drive as far. So I just type in park into Apple Maps, and pulls up a park nearby, 5 minutes away. I'm like, all right, we're just here to walk dogs. We're not having a picnic. We're not doing anything crazy. We just want to get our dogs out and about, taking advantage of the nice weather. And that's what we did. So we end up at this park up off of Mulholland Drive. I'm not going to name it because I don't want people following me. And I also don't want people going on this hike, because I do not recommend this hike at all. It was beautiful, but we'll get to why I don't like it. So you pull up to the park, you park your car, you get out, and you see that there's a little trailhead, and you start walking, and no signage or anything that mentions, hey, at the end of this, there's going to be a dead end, right? So I'm thinking, okay, like normally when you go on a hike, they're for the most part formed in loops so that you can kind of go out and come back on a different route. That was not what this was. This was, we walked, probably for like 45 minutes in total. And what ended up happening was I was following the maps on my phone, and it looked like on the map that there was like a walk, like there was obviously a trail, because what it looked like, the trail ended onto a residential street. So I was like, okay, let's just keep walking, and eventually we'll get there. Then we'll just walk on the street back up to the car. That's not what happened. We get to the end of this hike, and this hike was nice. It was cool. The temperature was nice. It was pretty woodsy for LA. And a lot of greenery. And we should have known probably when we were walking that like it wasn't a hike that people probably did a lot. But we weren't thinking about it too much because we were just like, oh, we're on a hike. Because at some points, I'm not kidding you, the hike was so, like, the trail was so narrow that we had to like sidestep through, because like there was like bushes on one side, or the bushes, or like a big tree. At one point there was a full grown tree that had just fallen in the middle of the trail. That should have been our sign to turn around, but we did not pick up on those clues, and we just ended up keep walking. We kept walking and kept walking because, like I said, the maps told me that this shit was gonna fucking end up somewhere. So I get to the end, and I turn this last corner. I'm like, oh, it looks like on the map we're almost there. Turn the corner. There's a black gate. The Berlin Wall is in front of us. There's cameras on it, barbed wire. There might as well have been a sniper at the top of the fucking hill, because this shit looked like, I don't know who lives there. It could be Madonna. It could be Prince. Or R.I.P. Prince. It could be Madonna. Somebody famous must live there, because I pulled up to this gate and it looks like in The Walking Dead when they build that city, and then or is that The Walking Dead? That's the thing too. I'd never even watched The Walking Dead. Maybe it's what movie is that? I don't know what movie it is, but basically it just looked like a big wall. It looked like the border wall that Trump built. Damn right. So we get to the wall, and I say, oh, like, it looks like we're going to have to turn around. So that's what we did. And we turned around, and unfortunately, on our walk-in, there was nobody walking on the trail that we were walking on. Because obviously, if you're a normal person, you would tell the people that you see on the trail, hey, there's a dead end down there. But when we turn around, probably 5 minutes into our trek back towards the car, a couple is coming down in, and I tell them, I'm like, hey, just letting you guys know. I don't know if you guys know, but this shit does not connect to anything, and you're basically walking into a wall. And the guy was like, really? Because it says it on my maps that like you can walk through. And I was like, yeah, I fell for the same thing. Along the way, though, we also did see somebody built a I mean, isn't an encampment? Isn't like an encampment more than one? I feel like a homeless encampment like means that there has to be more than one of them camping out. But I'm not shitting you. This guy built what looked like, you know those goats that climb on the side of mountains? All crazy? I don't know. I think they're called billy goats or mountain goats or whatever. This guy built his little shelter pretty much scaling the side of what looked like a 60 to 80 foot cliff. Bless you. And we didn't know if anybody was in there. I couldn't really tell, but it looked like there was stuff there that kind of signaled that somebody had been there recently. There was trash, and it looked fairly put together. And I feel like if nobody had been there, it probably like would have collapsed by then, because it wasn't even really a tent. It was just like a structure built of mostly what looked like just wood planks and sheets. So yeah, we saw a little homeless encampment, or a homeless camp that somebody built on the side of a hill. And that was pretty interesting, because I don't know why I never thought about that, but I never really assumed that they would be out there. Yeah. Like it's so, well, not remote, but like I feel like it's such a hard place to access. Like, especially if you have to like go down to like a store, for instance, like you're a good 2 miles from a store. And then if you have to get back up, that means you have to walk up that big ass hill to get back to your stuff. So maybe nobody was there, but either way, I'm just impressed by the ingenuity of the homeless community in Los Angeles. They are good at what they do, and they always have been, and they will continue to be, because we left them no other option than to live and unfortunately die on the streets. Sadly. Sorry to bring the mood down, but just wanted to be real with you guys for a minute. Like I said, this isn't always a comedy show. This is not always a comedy show. Sometimes we're going to keep it real in here. Sometimes we're going to be in our feels. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw last week that I decided to overshare a little piece of me that I don't even want to say overshare, but I was honest. Vulnerable is a better word. Vulnerable is a better word. With people that I don't think know that I've had those thoughts about me. I think that if you're not really close to me, you don't know how different I have felt for most of my life. But I feel like the core people that really know me and have known me for a long time obviously have caught me making terrible jokes about myself, or constantly tearing down my own self-esteem. But after the hospital, and after just that tough week, and quite honestly, tough month, I was urged not only by myself, but people around me, to be a little bit kinder to myself. And I felt like a good step towards being nicer to myself was to try and put words to the feelings that I have regarding what I see as my big flaws. And quite honestly, it felt pretty good to just get that out there and kind of give people some insight into why I choose to do something as vulnerable as this show. It's not easy all the time, and yes, it is very scary, but I tell Kirsten this all the time. I truly believe that if I do have one superpower in my own life, it is my vulnerability and my willingness to be open with people about not only what I'm feeling about myself, but also what I'm feeling about what could be going on in the world. So I think I'm trying to find ways to make it easier for me to share those sides of myself that maybe I haven't let people get to know in the earlier years of my life, because whether it be out of fear or fear of people not liking me was a big one, but also just a basic fear of being judged was something that I dealt with for a long time, which is kind of funny when you think about it now, because I'm literally recording my thoughts in a diary fashion on a massive platform. Not yet, but you know what I'm saying. Putting it out to the world, which means anybody could see this. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of what that was. I wrote a letter to myself. It felt very gay.
That boy gay.
In the moment after I posted it, it was kind of like a spur of the moment thing, but I think it worked out because ultimately it showed me that although sometimes we don't feel supported or understood or seen, that when we talk about the things that make us feel unseen or unsupported, that most of the time the reaction that you're going to get is going to be much more positive than you can probably imagine. So I think that was just a nice little exercise for me. And honestly, I do really, really, really enjoy writing. So maybe I'll kind of continue to do that. Maybe not on the comedy page, but on my actual Instagram with people who know me. And I also was thinking about, I have journals and journals from probably dating back, I think some of those journals go back to 2017. Right? Like 2018. So I think I'm going to start, peeking back through those pages, and I want to start sharing some of whether it be the thoughts or maybe a little bit of insight into the mind state that I was in when I was writing these things in these journals. But I do have like probably 5 or 6 journals that go back a good 6 years now of me. There was a time where I would write pretty consistently every single night before bed, dedicate about half an hour. And what I've learned over the past, really since starting the show, and also since trying to make more of an effort to put myself out there comedically and stuff like that, is I've noticed that, or I realized that I kind of wasted a lot of time writing. And although it does serve a really good purpose in the beginning, I think when you write too much, you can almost start to see the overthinking that you feel in your head, and that then starts to translate on paper. Because I have went back and read some of those old entries, and I got to say, a lot of it was just really repetitive, negative self-talk that really talked me into a place where I felt like I wasn't capable, or that I wasn't worthy of chasing the things that I want to chase. And ultimately, as I'm getting older, I find it really valuable to have those journals, because it allows me to see that not only am I a different person every day, and I wake up in a different mood, or I'm not. I don't even know if I'm bipolar or if I'm not bipolar, but I'm just saying I don't feel bipolar, but I think that's what a bipolar person would say. But I think I'm really grateful to have those journals, and I'm also I'm excited to kind of peer back through them and pull some things out, and maybe start posting like little graphics of like my writings on Instagram, just so that I can push that type of stuff out too, because I think that those types of thoughts that I was having back then, looking back on them now, I now see how irrational and afraid I was of, as confusing as it is, I was afraid of the things that I wanted. It's almost like when you want something that feels so big and feels so hard to attain, that you can scare yourself into a state of inaction. And I think that's a reason why I started this podcast over a month ago now, is just to get myself more comfortable with sharing the sides of me that at a certain point in my life I didn't think people would appreciate or lend an ear to listen to. So I think that going forward with this show, like I said at the top, it's not always going to be a comedy podcast. that and that's okay, because even comics aren't always comics. Even NBA players aren't always NBA players. Rappers aren't always rappers. Like, the person that you see on the screen, or the person that gets the notoriety for the skill that they have honed and practiced and worked on for years and years and years, that may be a part of them and it may be a side of them, but that is not who they are. And I do attach a lot of my identity to being somebody who can kind of like come into a room and I know that I can gel well with people who I might not even know, or just quite honestly, I just like to, as terrible as it sounds, I just like to make people laugh because it makes me feel good. And I don't know what hole that is inside of me that causes me to feel that way. But like I said, baby, this is Honesty Hour. And I just wanted to be honest with you guys because I'm incredibly grateful for the support that everybody has shown me in starting the show. And I hope that you guys continue to listen and you can go forward on this journey with me, not only to chase the things that I want, whether it be in comedy or even in my personal and like emotional journeys, but that is something that's very important to me, is to not always be on, because that's not natural. It's not natural to always be the thing that you are known for or the thing that you want to be known for. I think that there's a lot of value in showing the different sides of you, because it kind of helps people understand that it's okay that they don't feel like themselves all the time. And I got to say, guys, over the past couple of weeks, there was a lot of moments where I did not feel like myself. And there was a lot of moments where I felt like I was almost burdening the people around me with having to play these mental gymnastics to figure out who I was that day. And I don't want to be that kind of guy. I want to be somebody who is open, firstly, very open. And I want to be vulnerable. Not all the time. I don't want to always show you guys my wounds and expose my scars. But I do want to show you that it is okay to be that way. And I think that everybody, no matter who you are, if you're listening to this or watching this, just remember that it's okay to not always feel like yourself. And don't be so hard on yourself, man, because ultimately life throws a lot of crazy shit at us, good and bad. And it's very easy to get caught up in the dark stuff. But if you remember that you have purpose and you have people that love you in your life and you are actually working towards something that means something to you, I think that we can all find a silver lining of happiness and appreciation for one's life and for our own journeys, even when the journey is dark and sad. So, in other news, we'll get off the sadness. But the last thing I want to talk about, because like I said, we're working our ways out of the throes of depression, is this week I'm going to try and go to the gym. Now, I'm a very intimidated guy by the gym. The gym is a very scary place to me. Not because I'm afraid of men in muscle tees or anything like that. But I think when I used to go to the gym, I was very intimidated by it because I never quite knew what I was doing. And often I would I felt like I would overwork myself to the point where I would, I don't want to say hurt myself, but I would like strain myself, and then that would cause me to like lose motivation to go the next day. So starting this week, I'm going to try this thing where I'm going to just do a baseline 30 minutes a day of like zone 2 cardio, whether it be on the bike or just walking. Maybe mix a little bit of jogging in there because, like I said, guys, I am still recovering from an illness. So I don't want to strain my body too much, just go all hard right as soon as I get off of antibiotics. But I do want to make sure that I can avoid the situation that I was in 2 weeks ago to the best of my abilities. And I think that starts with taking better care of myself. Obviously, I didn't do that today. I ate a fucking basically 2-pound plate of enchiladas with rice and beans. But like I said, guys, I'm showing you guys all the sides of me. And yeah, I forgive myself for having enchiladas. I didn't eat all day, so I guess that's okay. But yeah, I'll be going to the gym. Maybe I'll post some stories of me walking or running or playing frisbee or something, doing something active. Sorry for the bummer episode today, guys. What? You don't think it was a bummer? You think it was real? Yeah. Real talk. Like R. Kelly. Yeah, I don't think it was a bummer either. I think it was needed. I think in order for the show to move forward, we have to open a line of communication that is honest, right? Because ultimately, I think that if you guys trust me with even 30 minutes of your time on a weekly basis, then that allows me to trust the people that listen to the show with sharing the things about myself that maybe I'm not proud of all the time. So I really appreciate all the love and the support when I was in the hospital, and even over the past week from all my friends that did notice that I wasn't feeling my best, and even the people who aren't my friends that noticed and sent a nice message or dropped a comment on a video, whatever it may be, man. I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting me in this crazy dream that I have, and I hope that you guys watching me do this gives you guys the courage to try the thing that you want to do, because ultimately that's the only way that we're ever going to be happy, is by chasing things that we actually want. Right? So I'm not going to apologize because Kirsten said it wasn't a bummer episode, but I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very much for listening to episode 5 of Loose Ends. We will be back hopefully next week with No, I know we will be back, but I was going to say we will be back hopefully to our normal, bubbly, energetic selves. But this was a real episode, and if you made it through to the end, maybe go down into the comments and drop a comment on something. Drop a comment on the video of something that that maybe you have learned in the past, dealing with the pains and struggles of being a human being. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to Loose Ends episode 5. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. And yeah, subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Leave a review of the show, please. That really helps me out and it makes me feel good. And yeah, thanks for listening to the show, guys. Have a good night. Bye. Love you.